Hello, Genial Gamer Gal here with a 2DS XL troubleshooting video. Recently I've been receiving a lot of comments about people having issues with their 3DS and DS games not working in their 2DS XL system, and they've been asking questions about what they can do to fix it. So I have decided to make a video about it so that all the information is all in one place. So let's get started with this troubleshooting guide. So before we get started with some ways to figure out if it's a game issue or a system issue, for the sake of being thorough, I do want to mention again that this 2DS XL system, which I have here, does indeed play 3DS and DS games. It is supposed to play both, and it should play both, honestly. I have several DS games and several 3DS games, and I've tested every one of them in this system, and they all work. So yes, it should be playing all 3DS and DS games. If it doesn't, then there's either something wrong with the system or with the game. And this is where this guide comes in, how to figure out what's wrong. So when you're putting in the game cartridge, the label should face down. So you're putting it in upside down. And when it works, it should pop up right here. I have popped in Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and as you can see right here, this lets you know that it is reading the cartridge. So it is reading the cartridge, no problem. And this comes to my next point. Do all of your 3DS, DS games not work, or just some? So a way to figure that out is gather all of your 3DS and DS games and test them out to see which ones are working or not working. So I'm going to pop in a DS game right now, and really the only way to figure out is if they work or don't work is to pop them in. I've had some people saying that they're having issues with the 3DS game. I've had some people saying that they only have issues with DS games. So when you do purchase this system, check all of your games and see which ones work, which ones don't, if it's just specific games that don't work. So this popped up, Super Princess Peach is a DS game. Here it is, it popped up here. That means it's reading the cartridge. There are no issues with that cartridge. So by testing all of your 3DS and DS games, you're going to be able to figure out if it's an issue with the 3DS or DS cart itself, or possibly the system. Now, before anybody freaks out about maybe the system not working, there is one thing that you can try to see if you can get the game cartridge to work. And my question to ask would be, is the 3DS or DS game cartridge dirty? And that is a common problem, especially with the 3DS and DS cartridges, because most of the time people purchase these loose. I like to buy them with the case and everything so they're protected, but most people have these loose. And what happens is the contacts on the back here get some dirt and grime. And I always clean mine. Every time I buy a game, I always clean it. So first thing to check is if the game is dirty. And I like to use isopropyl alcohol. This one is 91%. I try to find the highest one because that means it has less water in it, and less water means less damage to your electronics. Isopropyl alcohol, cotton swab. All you have to do is pop it on that cotton swab, just dip it in there, and then you just kind of rub it on the contacts here and clean it off. Now, from all the 3DS games and DS games I've purchased, I've only ever had an issue with one game not working. And it did take me several tries with the isopropyl alcohol to clean it off. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. Depending on how grimy that cartridge contact can be, it may take several tries to clean it off before the 2DS XL system will read it. So even if you've cleaned the game and it still doesn't work, my next question would be, does the 3DS or DS game work in another system? So I happen to have a Nintendo DS Lite here. Just pop it into another system and see if it works. If you don't have another system handy, you can ask a friend, hey, do you have a system that plays 3DS DS games? Can I borrow it to check out my games? This will help you determine if it's the system that doesn't work or the actual game that doesn't work. If the game still doesn't work even after you cleaned it, there is a possibility that the game itself no longer works. That does happen if you do purchase used games, especially cartridge-only games. These get thrown around and, like I said earlier, get dirt and grime on it. And DS games are older, so there is a chance that some of them may not work anymore. So if you do purchase used games, I always test the cartridge out right away just to make sure it works. So if it doesn't, then you might be able to return that game. But once you have that game and if you had it for a while and you just kind of pop it in and test it and you realize it doesn't work, sometimes that return window passes. So always test out your games. Is there a chance to return that game or exchange it where you purchased it from if they have a return policy? Most places do, usually within a couple of days or so. So always test out your games when you first get them. So if you've tested out your 3DS or DS game and it does work in another system, but it doesn't work in your 2DS XL, then it could be the system itself. So like I said earlier, this 2DS XL system does play 3DS games and DS games right out of the box. So if you're absolutely sure that the game will work in another system and it doesn't read it in your 2DS XL, there is a chance that, yeah, your 2DS XL seems to have gone bad, doesn't work. So what I would suggest is check your warranty status. So if your system is still under warranty, you may be able to send it off for repair. If you just purchased your system, you might be able to return or exchange it from where you purchased the system. So always check your warranty information and the return policy of where you purchased the system. Unfortunately, if those have expired past the return policy period or warranty period and you do need a repair, it is likely going to cost you money to send the system off for repair, unfortunately. So to wrap up what was talked about in this video, yes, the 2DS XL system does play 3DS and 3DS games. It should work out of the box. If it doesn't, always check to make sure the games are clean. You can use isopropyl alcohol to clean that off. It may take several tries sometimes. Test it out. If you have a friend that has another system, check the game on their system to see if the game works. If it works on their system and it doesn't work on your system, it may be that it needs to be sent off for repair, or if you recently purchased it, check with that store's return policy. You may be able to return it or exchange it for another system. All right, that wraps up this video of 2DS XL troubleshooting. If this video helped you, please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. Make sure you hit that bell notification button so that you receive alerts for when I post new videos such as this one. As always, thanks for watching and have a good one.